Hi guys! Those of you who follow me on Instagram will already know that I received this amazing planner for my birthday from James. I can guarantee that this is absolutely the only review of this planner on YouTube. This is the Hebrew English Week to View Desk Diary for 5777 or 2017. 5777 is the Jewish year this year. And this is a British Jewish planner. And I thought that it would be cool to show it to you because it's probably unlike most other planners that are out there. So it's a hardback. It's just a tiny bit bigger than A5. So this is my Leuchtturm A5, and you can see that it's just a little bit taller and the very, very tiniest bit wider. And it really looks like a hardback book. It's like totally, but it even has this on the spine. The back is blank, but you can see it's just this like kind of nice shiny hardback. And you can see that, you can actually see it better from here. That's the binding. It just totally looks like a book. It's a sort of aubergine, almost brown kind of color, but I think it's really more aubergine-y. I prefer to think of it that way anyway, because I like aubergine. And then when you open it, it has this nice bookend. It has a blue ribbon bookmarker, which is totally incongruous with this color. I'm not really sure what the logic there was. I like this color, and I like this color, but together they just look really funny to me. But anyway, you have a bookmark, and then that's the title page. So this is British. I think that there are definitely similar planners. These are like this is a very sort of traditional religious Jewish planner. There would be similar ones made in the US and elsewhere, but this one is British. As you can see, it was printed in London by Dunnes Stationery Supplies. And it actually goes from August 2016 to January 2018, which is the month of Av 5776 to Tevet of 5778 on the Jewish calendar. And here you have a 2016-2017 year at a glance, and then it has a table of contents, which I think is quite a cute touch. So you have annual calendars 2016-2017, the table of contents, which is included, an important note, Sabbath times for the provinces, which I'll show you in a minute, diary, that's the bulk of it. Then you have forward planners and abridged Jewish calendars, and then a 5-year calendar, addresses and phone numbers and notes. So I will show you all of those. So the important note is that the times in this diary are for London, Manchester, Gateshead, and Glasgow. Gateshead is a location of a very prominent yeshiva in the northeast of England, near Newcastle. So they give you the times for kind of the different prayer times and the times when the Sabbath comes in and goes out for these kind of 4 major locations. And then they give you some extra ones here for other cities, Belfast, Birmingham, Bournemouth, and Leeds, which have, kind of reasonably large Jewish communities. And then they give you a way to calculate the Sabbath times for other places if you live in one of these other cities which don't have as big Jewish populations. Okay, so it's a week on 2 pages. This is what it looks like. So it's a Sunday start, as Jewish planners always are, because the Jewish week goes from Sunday to Saturday. And it doesn't have a monthly view. As you've seen, it just had that year at a glance. So just go straight into the week on 2 pages. Horizontal layout. And the interesting thing about this, I think, besides all of the times, which I will briefly mention, is that you can see that each day has equal space except for Saturday, and that's because it's the Jewish Sabbath when traditionally you're not allowed to write. So this is a kind of interesting take on the shared weekend, because it's not a shared weekend. Sunday through Friday have the same amount of space, but Saturday you only get this tiny bit, because the only time that you're supposed to be writing anything on Saturday is on Saturday night after Shabbat goes out. So it's lined. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines per day. The lines are dotted. It's kind of looks like it's been designed. This looks like Arial font to me. I cannot say that the greatest kind of aesthetic considerations have gone into this, but it's very nicely laid out, and it's 100% function. You get nothing but function here. So we've got the date on the Gregorian calendar on the left and also the day of the week. And then on the right, you have the Hebrew date and day of the week. And it gives the Hebrew date in Hebrew, in the Hebrew alphabet, and then also in small letters in the Roman alphabet, in Arabic numerals. So it's the 24th of Av on this day, which corresponds to the 28th of August. And then here it says Yom Rishon, which is Sunday in Hebrew. So it gives you all of the days of the week in Hebrew. And it tells you if there's a bank holiday in the UK. And then it gives you the times of sunrise and sunset every day, which has to do with prayer services. And most importantly for my purposes, because I don't do any of that, it gives you the Shabbos times, the Shabbat Sabbath times. So Sabbath begins at, was August, London 7:28 p.m. and then ends London 8:34. So, and then as they told you they would, they give you the times for Manchester and Gateshead and Glasgow as well. And then they also give you the times of Rabbeinu Tam, which is a different rabbinic authority who thought that Shabbat should go out at a slightly later time, and some people follow that, and so they give you that as well. Let's just skip to the present week. So we are here, January 2017. So it says 8th day of Hanukkah there because Hanukkah just finished, and then it has it in Hebrew. So this is almost bilingual in that it gives you the days of the week and the month and everything and all of that in Hebrew and English, but the times of the day it only gives you in English. So at the top you have the month and the year in Hebrew, but in English, in the Roman alphabet, which I think is interesting because the rest of it is in the Hebrew alphabet. This is a very, very traditional, as I mentioned, very sort of religious planner, which is designed for the Orthodox community, as opposed to the other Jewish planner that I have that some of you might have seen, my home planner, which is kind of much more secular / interdenominational, non-denominational. This one is very traditional, and so that's why it gives you all of these times, because if you follow this, then you would need to know. And there's also more Hebrew in it for that reason. So it carries on. It has page numbers, which I think is interesting because most planners don't have page numbers. And that goes together with the feeling that you get over all of it being a hardback book. It totally looks like a book. And as you know, I am a huge sucker for bound planners, so I really like this. And the page numbers just kind of adds to it. Paper quality, not great. This feels to me like just photocopy paper. There's really kind of nothing, particularly special about the paper, but then that's not why you buy this sort of a planner. It also has this little space for notes at the bottom, which is the same size as what you get for Shabbat. So, and Shabbat is filled up with the times as well, with the times that the Sabbath ends, and it's you really only have one line to write on Saturdays, which for me works much better than a shared weekend because I don't really keep Shabbat strictly in that to the letter, but it is my day off. So for me, this works much better than having, the kind of shared weekend that you would get in say a Moleskine planner. So it marks things like holidays, British holidays. And where was it? It's disappeared. Put clocks forward 1 hour tonight for BST, British Summertime. So it's very, very, Anglo-centric. It's designed for people who live in the UK. And it just carries on like that, always giving you the English month and year and the Hebrew month and year at the top. And it goes until Cheshvan, Kislev, Tevet. So this is the end of December 2017. And it marks things like Rosh Chodesh, which is the beginning of the Jewish month. So first day Rosh Chodesh, and then it's also is the 6th day of Hanukkah. So it second day Rosh Chodesh, 7th day Hanukkah. So it will always mark all of the Jewish festivals and events, which is great because the other Jewish planner, the home planner that I have it's American, which means that it doesn't give the Shabbat times for the UK. So, like I have to look them up somewhere else. So this will be really convenient because it gives you exactly the times that you need and, targeted for London, which I find being a planner girl, I prefer that to looking them up on my phone. So this is the end of the week on 2 pages. And then it goes straight into this forward planner, which I think is quite a nice feature. This is something that I've only ever seen in the Moleskines, and they've taken it out now, which I think is a shame. 2014 and possibly I think 2015 was the last year that they did it. So after the end of the planner, they give you this like kind of a year on 4 pages. It's 2 months per page of the following year. So this is for 2018. And I just think that this is amazing. And I don't know why more planners do it. And it's a shame that this is like the only planner in existence that I know of that does it, because let's face it, not many planner addicts are going to be using this. And I think it's a really convenient feature because it means that if you have something like way in advance, which sometimes does happen with me, where do you put that? I've complained about this in other videos. At the moment, I'm just using a blank page in my Hobonichi for work stuff to put down appointments for the coming year. But I think it would be really nice to have something like this where you can just slot it in on the right date and, then transfer it over. I think it makes it much tidier. And it also gives you the Jewish holidays and British bank holidays, which is really convenient. So, like, for example, here you can see this is Pesach, Passover. So if you need to schedule something far in advance, it covers you for the holidays as well in tiny writing. So that's the forward planner. And then you also get a smaller forward planner for 2019. So I feel like in terms of functionality, they've really thought of everything, because this is actually extremely useful. So for this, you don't have very much room to write. You could probably, if you write really small, you could fit in just like kind of a note or an abbreviation here, which I think would work if for some reason you did have something like, occasionally there are events that are that far in advance, like not very often. I don't think I've ever had to plan something 2 years in advance, but it's more for checking dates. I think this would be things for like maybe, I don't know, like if you wanted to work out, trying to think what you would use this for 2 years in advance. I don't think I've ever actually had to do that, but I just like the idea that they have it. And again, it tells you all of the holidays as well. Sometimes for planning things, actually, like for us in the university, when sometimes we have to plan events for the next year or the academic year following that, we always do need to know when the Jewish holidays are, because we don't teach on the Jewish holidays. And so sometimes we have to reschedule things, and it can be really useful to know that. So I like this. And then at the end, there's even more. So it gives you an abridged Jewish calendar for 5777, which is this year. And this is really convenient as well, because like, again, sometimes if you are, like in relation to work or just like kind of planning, to meet people or go on trips or something, it's really useful to know when the Jewish holidays are. And so this is just like a quick reference guide. So like, say I'm going to book a trip to a conference or something. I want to make sure that it doesn't fall on one of the Jewish holidays, because I wouldn't travel then. So you can just go here and see, okay, so when is Shavuot this year? Very convenient. And so this is actually really handy. And then it gives you one for 5778 and 5779 as well, which is the end of 2017, 2018. So this is fantastic. And the other thing that this will be really useful for, which I will definitely use this for, is for copying this information into my other planners. Because, for example, I copied all of the Jewish holidays for 2017 into my personal planner, and it was kind of laborious because I had to go through the Jewish calendar and find all of the holidays, whereas this just gives it to you all in one handy sheet. So I really like that. By the way, I must say, the Mambi stickers, I'm really, really happy that they have stickers in one of the value packs. They have a sticker for Hanukkah Begins and Passover Begins. But I have to say, I don't expect this to happen. But wouldn't it be great if they made stickers for Purim and Lag BaOmer, which is there, and Shavuot and Sukkot? That would be amazing. So then you have a 5-year calendar for notable days. And so here they've just kind of like summed up, they've taken the most important Jewish holidays, or, you know, like kind of the most major holidays: Rosh Hashanah, which is Jewish New Year, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Hanukkah, Purim, Pesach, Shavuot, and the fast of Tisha B'Av, and put them there so that you can access them even more quickly than if you were to check here. This one has got like all of them in detail, and you can see there are a lot of Jewish holidays, so it can be sort of confusing. You know, if you're not confusing, but if you're trying to plan things, you have to be careful to avoid them. So this really is very useful. No matter how observant you are, as long as you observe the holidays, it's really useful. And then at the end, it gives you addresses and phone numbers, and it has space for quite a few, and it includes name, address, email, telephone, fax. I don't know of anyone who uses faxes anymore, but never mind, and mobile. And then it has one single solitary notes page at the end, and the publisher's information. It has 160 pages, and then it has this back flyleaf. And that's it. So you might be wondering, what on earth am I going to use this planner for? And I have to say, I have no idea. At the very, very worst, not worst, but at the very least, this will be really convenient as a reference book for all of the holidays and the Shabbat times, like I said, because this is the only thing that I have that has them all in this compact format. But obviously, being a planner addict, I would like to take up the challenge of figuring out a way to incorporate this into my lineup. And I think that this is actually something for, you know, those of you who have commented that I have a lot of planners, and indeed I do have a lot of planners, like way more than anybody needs, but because it's my hobby, I actually really enjoy the puzzle of trying to figure out a use for a new planner. And I think that somehow, for me, this is quite a satisfying challenge. It's kind of like a Zen koan or something, where instead of worrying, which is what I normally do, when I'm like out walking the dogs or something, I think about like, so what could I use this planner for? And I actually really enjoy it. And it's sort of like a nice distraction. And it's like, I don't know, like I imagine that doing crossword puzzles must be for some people. So I'd quite like to find a way to use this more actively than just using it for reference. The thing about this planner is, obviously, this was not designed with planner addicts in mind. It's not cute. The paper quality is not very good. It's very like kind of business-like, and you know, it doesn't, I don't know, it's no happy planner. Let's just put it like that. But I'm thinking that there's nothing here that a nice Mambi value pack can't fix. So I kind of like the idea of decorating this planner with, like, you know, what, don't you think that this would look good with some of these or some of these? I think it would. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to incorporate this, but I'm going to think about it, and I'll let you know when I have a solution to this conundrum. So in the meantime, I hope that you've enjoyed this. I know that this is not, you know, a planner that most people are going to be looking to get for themselves, which I'm hoping is a good thing, because I've been told that I'm a terrible enabler. So hopefully this is one planner that you probably won't feel compelled to like go out and look for, which is good, because it's probably quite hard to find unless you live in the UK, particularly in London, where you can get it in Jewish bookshops. But I hope that it was interesting for you to like kind of see what it looks like, because I'm always curious to see what like planners from different cultures and like different religions are like. And so I think that hopefully, you know, if you haven't seen a planner like this before, that it would be kind of cool to have a look at it. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will be back again soon with more videos, because for my birthday, you will not be surprised to learn that I have acquired some more planner supplies. So I will see you again soon.